Hello everyone, welcome back to the POPSICLE KNIGHT channel. My name is Joseph and today we're going to have fun with a meme deck. We're going to be looking at a deck using Shaymin from Vivid Voltage. Can we build a deck around this? We'll find out. But first I want to thank you for taking the time to check out this video. Please click the like button for this video if you like it. Hit the thumbs down if you don't. This actually helps me out in getting this video to more viewers like you. And please consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. So let's get started. Shaymin from Vivid Voltage is very weak. Its HP is very low at 70. The only thing that I really want to focus on is its flower bearing attack. For 1 grass and 1 colorless energy, you flip a coin, and if it's heads, your opponent shuffles their active Pokemon and everything attached to it and put them on the bottom of the deck. So we're going to center our build on that mechanic. This one pairs nicely with the Whimsicott from Sword and Shield base set. It has the attack Cottonee Ride. For just 1 colorless, you flip a coin, and if it's heads, your opponent shuffles their active Pokemon and all attached to it into their deck. This one is a little bit better than Shaymin, I think, because it only requires 1 colorless energy, but they work pretty well together. The only difference with Shaymin is that you put those cards to the bottom of your opponent's deck, and Whimsicott just simply shuffles it back randomly. So really, this build is just for memes. Not that anyone's gonna play it like this, but hey, let's just have fun. With this, one of our win options is to shuffle all of your opponent's Pokemon back into their deck until they have no more in play. But for this to work, you have to do it fast before your opponent rebuilds their bench with Pokemon. This of course really depends on which build you're up against, because some decks can just easily put their Pokemon back in play. And in late games, this strategy becomes very useless because you'll end up decking out first while your opponent's card simply gets recycled back into their deck. Surprisingly though, Shaymin and Whimsicott can be very disruptive cards because you can easily just shuffle back one of your opponent's main attackers back into their deck, which could potentially weaken their strategy for some time. At that point though, you can take out their other weaker support Pokemon with your main attacker. For this particular build, I will be using Celebi V. Celebi V has 180 HP, and I chose this one as the grass type attacker for this build because of its attack line force. For just 1 grass and 1 colorless, it will do 50 base damage but an extra 20 for each Pokemon in your bench. So with a full bench, you can deal 150 damage. And for just 2 energy, it's not such a bad attack at all. I also added 1 Appletun line with the Delicious Aroma ability, where you can flip a coin once per turn, and if it's heads, you can boss's orders one of your opponent's bench basic Pokemon into the active. This one is really good because it gives you that free option to target one of your opponent's basic Pokemon to choose as a target to shuffle back into their deck. We're taking full advantage of Glimwood Tangle Stadium with this build because Shaymin and Whimsicott's attack basically rely on coin flips, and that extra try really makes a huge difference in getting a higher chance of succeeding in your coin flips. But also I'll be using the support card Will. This one can give us a 100% guarantee to the result of our coin flips, and Palpad to recycle Will from the discard back into the deck so that we can use it more. 4 Crushing Hammers also is here to discard our opponent's energies to slow them down, and 1 Reset Stamp. Because Shaymin is weak, I had to add Mew with Bench Barrier so that we can eliminate most bench damage coming from our opponent, and Gormandized Snorlax will be our drawing engine for this build. As for the rest of the deck, it's pretty much all basic stuff, so I won't spend too much time on it, but I'll put the list in the description below if you're interested in challenging yourself with this RNG based build. And that's pretty much it for the deck, but enough talk, let's have some fun and see some gameplay. Alright, so if you guys haven't noticed yet, I don't know, out of curiosity and I call it science, you know, I try to experiment with the different cards that each set. For this case, Vivid Voltage. I'm gonna try it Shaymin here, give it a chance, see what it can do, what it's capable of. So that's why, even though, you know, on a competitive point of view, it might not be the most useful thing, but you know, for me, I like the game. I just want to have fun with it. So it might not seem the most viable card to play, but I will give it a chance, and that actually is one of the challenges that I kind of put myself in. You know, this might not be the best build out there, but you try to build around it and see what you can build. It's like Legos. Might not be the best design, but at least you're able to try it out and see how it goes. So So let's try out this Crushing Hammer. Sweet. And I'm just gonna Gormandize here. So I played a lot of games trying to work my way around the Shay-MEME shuffling your opponent's cards back into your deck. And the end result is just a lot of losses. And, you know, I don't know. This one worked out for the most part, so let's see how this one plays out. So we got Persian here. So its ability, its effects will not get affected by Pokemon that has any special energy. I think that's the only thing that is going to make Shaymin not be able to shuffle it back. So putting just regular energy on Shaymin, at least we have that chance of being able to shuffle Alolan Persian into the deck if we need to. But now they have Hoopa GX and they will Marnie us. So we are up against an uncommon dark deck, which is kind of nice. I like playing with different types of builds. You know, it's a challenge to play with the tier 1 decks that many competitive players play, but you know, it becomes really monotonous when you're playing with the same decks. Well, when you're playing against the same decks over and over again. So I like to shake things up, and that's why when you see the videos that I post are usually of different decks. So this one is a little special, I think, or it's different at least anyways. So I appreciate these types of builds. So we're just going to use Quick Ball here and get our Celebi V. And we're just going to Gormandize again as we continue to set up. We have a Scoop Up net, so we have a chance to shuffle this Hoopa back into their deck. They will Rare Candy into Hydreigon. This is where it gets really interesting for us, because now as long as they have energies on their hand, they have access to all these energy, and they have a Mewtwo and Mew GX. So now we have to check what's on their discard pile. Otherwise we can easily lose this game when they knock out all of our Pokemon just like that. So okay, alright, and they have Marnie. So now we can't get Snorlax out of the active, and that gives them more access to more energies, which now it will do 160 damage. So that will KO Snorlax. So now we have a chance here to shuffle this Hoopa back into the deck. So let's just do Flower Bearing here. It's nice we got heads for our first coin flip. And now we just have to worry about the other ones here. It'd be nice if we can set up Appletun, but the only ones that will be affected by Appletun is Mewtwo and Mew tag team, this Grimmsnarl, or Dedenne GX. So I mean, we have Celebi V ready to attack. It will do 150 damage, but it is a good thing though that Grimmsnarl V and Persian is weak against grass, so we do have an upper hand on that. So we might, if we don't shuffle all their Pokemon back into their deck, we can at least have a chance to win some prize cards off of that. So we can get rid of these major attackers and maybe shuffle Mewtwo and Mew back into the deck. So at least we have these options. So we'll promote Celebi V. We'll use Pokecom here. I think we could get another Shaymin. See, the thing with Shaymin too that sets it apart from Whimsicott is it requires 2 energies. So I think Snorlax will be the best option here. We can always retreat back and then just Gormandize so we can get more energy, because it's worse if we don't have any cards on our hand. So we'll just use Ordinary Rod, get our Pokemon back into energies back into play, and we'll just KO this Grimmsnarl V. It does 220 damage, so you know that is something that we have to watch out for. But at least Celebi V can survive a lot of these, a lot of our opponent's attacks, because we already eliminated Grimmsnarl V, which does 200 damage. Persian we should survive its attacks because it only does 120 damage, and we have Mew in the bench, so it can't do bench damage. And I guess it's Mewtwo and Mew tag team that we have to worry about if ever it goes into the active. So now they're energizing it with the Hydreigon, which is it's worrying me a little bit, but okay, they're gonna Marnie. At least we still have Glimwood Tangle to use if we need to shuffle. Well, we have Appletun. I like the design of Appletun. It's like apple pie. Okay, Hoopa's back. Okay. We have a new stadium. We can get energy from our discard using that. And alright. So now they have a lot of they have 3 lines of attackers now that we have to worry about. Winning this game is very slim for us. So let's evolve that, and see if we use a special energy on Celebi V, that would be bad. Hydreigon is weak against grass, so we could Boss's Order it and then just eliminate it. We could. That way, you know, they won't have that option of energizing. But I don't know. Yeah, I think I'll just eliminate that. Sacrifice 2 prize cards. At least they don't have that option of, you know, if we shuffle back 1 Pokemon, at least, you know, they won't be able to energize whatever it is that comes back into play quickly. So I don't know. This looks like a losing game for us, but we're gonna try. Okay, we're gonna lose 2 prize cards out of that one. So let's see. It's not a guarantee that Whimsicott, we will have Whimsicott, or yeah. So Celebi will be promoted here. It's good we got a basic energy. Now at least we can attack. We can do damage to this. Okay, Appletun didn't work because I was thinking of getting Mewtwo and Mew instead. That'll get, you know, set us up for 3 prize cards. But we got a Shaymin and we got a Whimsicott. Let's see. Let's just look at. They have Incineroar GX, so the GX attack for that is how many damage they have. Mew doesn't have damage, so it shouldn't knock out Celebi V, and its attack is based on how much damage it has. So okay, well, I'm just gonna attack here. I think that's the only option. We have Whimsicott. Persian only has 50 HP left, so we can use Whimsicott, I think, to just knock it out. and that will leave us with one price card to worry about. So Celebi V should survive. Mewtwo and Mew can't use its GX because it needs purple energy, and the GX attack of Hoopa will not be able to knock out Celebi. So we should be good, I think. 120. Yeah, because Hoopa depends its GX on how many GX we have in play. Since we don't have any, it's not going to be able to use its GX. So Persian has 50 HP left. I'm just going to retreat, and I'm just going to use Leaf Step. That at least that will get us 2 prize cards. And oh my gosh, we got a boss's order. I think that will be our winning. So what we need to do here, if our opponent doesn't have any more tricks up their sleeve, we can boss's order the Hydreigon, attach the aromatic energy on Celebi, and just knock out Hydreigon for the win. Nice. Okay, sweet. So with that, they only get 1 prize card. We are still in this game. All we have to do is put Celebi in the active. Put 1 energy on Celebi. You know what? We can't Appletun anyways because it's not a basic. So we'll have to boss's order Line Force for the win against this Dark Box. Nice. Good game. Alright, so we are up against a water deck. So after playing so many games with this this build, you know, tweaking here and there, you know, when I experiment with decks, it gets really frustrating sometimes because instead of having fun, it becomes more. But you know what? That's how I see its potential. When I see the more games you lose, the more you learn from it, and you know how to better the deck that way. And when it finally works, you know, it pays off. And that's what makes me enjoy the game, all the thinking aspect of it, because you need that strategy, and that's what makes me enjoy this game. You know, not so much the competitive, because competitively, you know, you really have to go for those really top-notch decks or cards that everybody else uses, that you have to, you know, you have no choice, because that's usually what you will end up using if you really want to win. But, you know, being able to build decks that nobody else plays, and then you actually making it work, and you play games, and then you actually win with the deck that you build. You know, even if you're up against not so good builds, you know, it still makes you feel accomplished after being able to successfully create a build that actually works how you thought it in your mind. So we are up against the Gyarados. This one is a very scary deck. It will do like 2 billion damage every attack for just 1 energy. Their attack depends on how much energy they find in the first 7 cards of the top of their deck. So, you know, with that attack, even Snorlax survived with just 1 HP left. So let's try Crushing Hammer. That's good for that's good for us. Everybody loves Crushing Hammer. Let's just scoop up Snorlax so it, you know, it won't get KO'd. We'll set up Whimsicott here. Maybe we can make this Gyarados fly away, you know. Give it a free ride. But first, let's Marnie. Let's see what cards we get off of that. We get another Crushing Hammer. Maybe we can get that energy off of that other Gyarados. So let's do that. Sweet. I think I'll just use Pokecom here. Thinking Celebi. Yeah. So we can set up our attacker here. Either we Cotton Ride. Either we shuffle all their Pokemon into their deck, or we knock out the Gyarados, the leftover Gyarados. So let's try Cotton Ride. Sweet, sweet. So you know what, with this deck, if you don't have the Glimwood Tangled set up, you don't have Will, just gotta rely on RNG. And if you don't like this type of decks that rely on coin flips and chance, you know, don't play this card. Don't play this deck. It's very frustrating when you always get tails. You know, don't get salty. Rage quit or something like that. Playing a lot of games with this one, it really made me feel like that sometimes. But you know what? You gotta be persistent. And if you have the patience, that trains your patience too. And again, you just try and try until you succeed. And when you do, you know, it feels great. So now we got Will off of our top deck. We can just Cotton Ride this guy, heads, 100% heads, and then now we have one card left to shuffle back, and then we win the game. But you know what? We don't have any energy. With this Gyarados, it's just gonna knock out this Whimsicott. Shaymin doesn't have any energy. Yeah, that was enough to knock it out. So Snorlax, I think, will be our next option here, and we're just gonna Garmin-Dice in our next turn, depending on what card we get on the top deck. Yeah, we're just gonna have to Garmin-Dice here. Okay. Yeah, well, we got a Whimsicott line here. Could definitely use that. But I want to show off Shaymin here. I mean, you know, Shaymin works hand in hand with Whimsicott in this deck. First of all, Whimsicott requires only one energy, so that's what makes it better than Shaymin. But Shaymin, the other side to it is that it puts those cards in the bottom of the deck, so it's a lot harder for your opponent to find it unless they have Quick Ball or Pokecom or Incense. So that's the only thing with Shaymin. Having two energies, it has that extra hard to find kind of aspect to it. But I'm just gonna get a Whimsicott, and I'm just gonna Garmin-Dice so we can evolve it in our next turn. We have energy for it. I mean, we can put energy on Shaymin, or I think putting it on Celebi is better. Oh boy. Well, you know what? Our opponent doesn't have a complete line of this the Gyarados here. So they have a different type of Gyarados. It doesn't have the Distilled Blast, so they will have to build up their energy using that. So if we just shuffle this Gyarados back into their deck, at least we can survive a few turns here. And we're just gonna put Mew in the bench. Mew can actually knock out one of these Magikarps in the bench, our opponent's bench, so that could be an option. So I'm just setting up Mew here just in case. And I'm gonna use Appletun. That's Delicious Aroma, didn't work. We could knock out one of the Magikarps. You know what? That's fine. We can just shuffle this one. Ooh, we have Will. Let's use Will for a guaranteed Cotton Ride. Hey, don't you like that? You get a free ride. So there goes our opponent. So that's the thing. You cannot just win shuffling your opponent's Pokemon back into their deck, because late game, when that's all the cards they have in their deck is their Pokemon and the energies that's attached to it, they're just gonna get back into their hand, play it, and then they'll just knock out your Whimsicott or Shaymin. So let's just attack this Magikarp for an easy knockout. We get a Glimwood Tangle, so now we have a chance to... Oh well, we can't shuffle this one back because... I mean, if they KO Whimsicott, I mean, we can just shuffle it back into the deck. Yeah, it should survive with one hit. Wait, 3 energy. Yeah, Whimsicott should survive this one, but they are getting Magikarps back into play, and so that's the thing. It's really difficult to win by emptying your opponent's board from Pokemon, because they you know, a lot of decks have this thing where, yeah, let's try again. Sweet. They can just get their Pokemon back into their hand, put it back into play, and it's just gonna recycle through. You have to have some type of attacker in this type of build so that you have this way of removing Pokemon in play permanently, so it doesn't, I mean not permanently, but knock it out at least, so that it goes into the discard pile instead of shuffling it back into the deck. So the thing with shuffling back is that it removes all their energy. Even if they put it back into play, they have to rebuild it with all the energies that it requires. So like in the case of Gyarados here, it only requires 1 energy. So the potential of you losing the game is a lot higher because they don't need a lot of energy to attack. And so once they get all their prize cards, you lose the game. So, you know, in terms of matchups, there's a lot of bad matchups against this type of mechanic that we are using. But nonetheless, it's, you know, again, this deck build could be circumstantial, but we'll do our best as much as we can and win as much games as we can with this one. So I'm just gonna knock out this Gyarados so that it goes into the discard pile, and all we have to do is shuffle this last one, or at least knock it out if we can. So there's the Gyarados. Wow, it's a different Gyarados though. So they are still surviving this. We are only getting 1 prize card for each of these Gyarados. So it is a different Gyarados than the other one. Let's just put an energy on Shaymin. We can start shuffling. Sweet. Appletun. We can knock this one out. See, that Gyarados requires a lot more energy to attack, so... Alright, I think this is our chance. All we have to do is shuffle it back into the deck, and we win the game. Flower bearing. Nope, you go back. Yeah, Celebi V can't knock it out anyways because it has 180 HP. So shuffling it back into the deck is our best option. Good game. So with this one, I'm fast forwarding this last game and I'm just dubbing over it. This one basically is my preliminary build, so I didn't have Celebi V in this deck yet. And this is the pure shuffle your opponent's Pokemon back into the deck without knocking out anyone. So this is basically a meme deck against the meme deck. Well, you know what? Their build is actually more viable than ours because they're using Palossand. You know, the whole point of that deck build is decking out your opponent. So every time they evolve this into Garbodor, or I'm sorry, into Muck, they're gonna discard our item cards, and then Palossand will discard our top cards. And if it has a Curse Shovel, it's gonna discard three cards instead. And with Shaymin here, we get Tails off of that first try, and they're gonna continue to draw. And I'm gonna try here again, and it worked finally with Palossand. So it took a few tries. You know, if you don't have that Glimwood Tangled in play, it really makes it a lot frustrating, especially if you're getting all of these Tails. And when you need that, when you really need to be able to succeed in flipping aheads with your attack, you know, you gotta have that. And if it fails, it becomes really frustrating because it basically makes you lose the game. So our opponent's strategy here with their scoop up nets, they've already used 2 of them. They scoop up the Grimer and then re-evolve it into Alolan Muck, and then it keeps discarding our item cards in our deck. So now they have a 2-line of Palossand in their hand, or in their bench, and we're just going to continue to shuffle as much of these Pokemon back into their deck. So the thing with this gameplay that I had played beforehand, it took a really long time. And you know what? They only had one option with this preliminary build that I had made. The only one option I had is to basically shuffle all our opponents' Pokemon back into their deck. And you know, again, if they have this option of getting all their Pokemon back into play, you basically lose the game anyways. But I was happy with the result of this one. We were succeeding a lot with a lot of our coin flips, especially with the Glimwood Tangle now in play. So it's basically a race between us decking out or being able to remove all of our all of our opponent's Pokemon from play. So so far we're succeeding. We are now down to 2 Muck, but then again they keep replacing it. But at least the only thing I saw with this matchup is that our opponent actually does not attack. So leaving Shaymin in the active was all it took to win the game, because you know, we don't have to worry about it being knocked out. And all we had to really worry about is watching how much of our own cards from our deck being used up so that we don't get decked out, because of that. That's the whole strategy of our opponent. So we of course don't want to deck out. At least we have Ordinary Rod, we have Palpad to help us get some of these cards back into our deck, which is really good. So my main target really here is the Palossands, because their scoop up nets will run out. They already used 2. I think that's their 3rd or last one. So you know, with Palossand, it will we have to shuffle this back into their deck, because with that Curse Shovel, it's gonna discard more cards. Yes, yeah. So it discards more cards from our deck, from our top deck, if we don't remove it. So the Mucks I'm not too worried about, because it will have its it basically won't be able to do its ability anymore, because once they run out of that scoop up net, then it just sits there. So we're okay with that. So we're just gonna continue. We're just gonna continue to remove our opponent from play. So we have at this point I have 2 Glimwood Tangle in the discard pile, so we should have 1 more. And I'm just gonna use Cotton right here. I was actually thinking of just attacking so that we can knock out this Jirachi, but you know, just just use the chance. RNG. So I'm just gonna keep trying. Cotton Ride. So again, we are playing with an RNG build here, and one of the Whimsicott actually. This one I have in play, the fairy type. That's really nice because it allows you to find any card you want from your deck. So I have a 2-1 line of Whimsicott here in this build. So that worked out well, but we basically won't be attacking with it in this game. So I'm just gonna take away the Pokédoll here, because that could potentially okay, we got the Glimwood Tangle Will, so now it guarantees head, and we just shuffle that back into the deck. Now we're down to 2. So yeah, RNG. So oh man, so with the with that Galar Mine, that will remove our extra chances with the Glimwood Tangle. Or actually, I think I have 4 in this build, but at least, you know, so we will be relying on Will at this point, so that we can try and eliminate all of our opponents and put them all back into their deck. So again, we're left down to 3. They will be relying on their top deck soon. Okay. Alright, so at least they don't have a Curse Shovel. We'll just Cotton Ride this. Now we're down to 2 Mucks. And hopefully, I'm just hoping that they don't have anything else. And we are getting our Wills at this point. And we just need 1 more to win the game. Unfortunately, they get 1. Cotton Ride, we failed, so that gives them another turn. Alright, we still have a chance at this. Just gonna continue the Cotton Ride, shuffle that back. 1 more to go. Okay, they're gonna Marnie. Oh boy. Do they have any more basics? Oh, here we go, and we have a Will. So well played, and that's how you win. This is one of the win victories that you can do for this game. So, good game. Shaymin. Well, what can I say? Not much, really. It works well with Whimsicott, and it's a nice meme challenge. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to smash that like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.